Hello, I'm Amy, I'm a horse dealer, and here are 5 common mistakes people make when inquiring about horses for sale. Don't mind me, just hanging out in my lorry. Mistake number 1, not picking up the phone. The best way to get a seller's attention is to call them. If you're selling a horse, or several horses, you can be inundated with inquiries. It can be really hard to keep on top of all of those messages. They tend to just kind of pile up in your inboxes. So the best way to cut through that noise and make sure the seller notices you is to call. And if they don't pick up, call again. From my point of view, I don't like to book a viewing unless I've spoken to somebody on the phone first. It's really difficult to get a good feel for someone and their suitability for a horse without speaking to them on the phone. I don't like just booking viewings for anyone to come and see the horses. I want to be selective about it. So I want to have at least a bit of confidence and a good feeling on someone before they come to view. Mistake number 2, setting very narrow parameters, but not necessarily for the right reasons. The most common areas I get this is height and age. As an example, somebody might inquire and say, I'm looking for a horse that is between 15.1 to 15.3. That's a really narrow parameter, especially when you consider the size of a horse can be very different to the height. Now, there are many reasons why somebody might be looking for a specific height or under a specific height. It can be to do with showing or hunting, if somebody's doing gates or polo, things like that, where height is really important. But for most people, it's more to do with size. The size difference between a 15.1 and a 15.3 can be enormous or minimal. So a more useful thing to say here could be, I'm looking for a horse to carry me. I am 5'3" and 8 stone. Another one is age. People can call saying, I'm looking for a horse between 4 and 6 or 4 and 16. So either very wide or very narrow, but either way, it's really difficult to define a horse by its age, especially where temperament is so important. What might be more helpful to say there is, I'm looking for a horse that is established at this level and has this basic level of training. I'm happy to work on this. I'm not so happy to work on this. Mistake number 3, giving too much irrelevant information. This can be a really difficult one to keep on top of because you're calling and talking to someone about your horses. We all love to talk about our horses. But when you're talking to a lot of people every day and you're getting a lot of very similar information, especially when it's a lot of calls about the same horse and so therefore the same kind of market, it can be really difficult to sift through all of that information and work out what is relevant and what isn't. Also, when you're getting a lot of calls, you tend to hear a lot of similar stories. This can be quite emotionally draining and exhausting and make it quite difficult to focus, especially because these conversations don't tend to be quick. They tend to be quite long. So a good way to avoid this happening would be to make some bullet points of things that are important to you, some questions that you have, and things that you want to discuss, so that when you ring and you make that inquiry and you have that conversation with the seller, you know that you're getting all the right information across. Mistake number 4, not reading the ad in full. Now, this is a really common one, and I don't know why. It drives me crazy. The advert should be your first port of call for information. Now, granted, some adverts are very sparse, some adverts are very full. I write essays. I've got all the information that you need to know in there. But when you're looking at an advert which perhaps doesn't have as much information, what you can note is what isn't in there. What information are you looking for in that advert that isn't included? Either way, whether it's a short advert or a long advert, make sure that you read everything in full from the first word right through to the last. Read it again, send it to somebody else, get them to read it, highlight bits, make notes, and then when you ring the seller, you know what information you need and what questions you need to ask, and you won't come away feeling like you've missed anything. Mistake number 5, not taking no for an answer. I know my horses really well. That's why you've called me to chat about them. So if I feel that through our conversation, based on the information you've given me, that the rider isn't going to suit the horse, or the horse isn't going to suit the rider, or the home isn't going to suit the horse, then I'm going to say so, and I'm not going to allow a viewing. It can be really difficult to hear no in these situations. You've seen a horse that you're really interested in, it seems to tick all your boxes from the advert, you're excited to view, you call, and the seller turns you down. My priority is to look after everyone's welfare, but especially the horse. The horse didn't ask to be put in this situation, and so it's up to me to make sure that they're getting good quality viewings. Allowing people to come view when I don't think that they're going to be suitable is not safeguarding the horse's interests. You've called me to find out if the horse is suitable. So if the answer's no, accept it graciously. It's in everyone's best interests. I'm just trying to help. I hope that's been useful for you. If you have any questions about anything, do please let me know. In the meantime, happy horse shopping.